now your time on The Apprentice is up. If you could go back and maybe redo one task, what do you have an idea of what you'd change?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be project manager on week 7, that's for sure. Uh, I would be coasting that task and just hoping that I get through to the next one. Um, I would not really change much, to be honest with you. I mean, the only thing, and this is like, again, things you don't see, I lost the project manager vote in week 6 by 1 vote. And that was like, I was so upset because corporate away days was something I really wanted. But one thing you don't see is like Dan had a lot of sway when it came to project manager votes. Dan would like almost like we used to call him like Lord Miller. He would go, "My vote is for this person," and everyone would be like, "Yep, well, they're going to be project manager this time." And Lord Miller declared himself for Prish, and I lost by 1 vote. But I don't think I'd change anything, to be honest with you. I really don't. Like I went in there, I was feeling myself. I enjoyed everything, and I just made the most of the experience to make sure that, and this is, I've said this previously in the podcast, like if the number one experience is Lord Sugar's network, like forget the money because, the money £250,000 is, actually it's almost like a challenge to build a business of that. So a lot of businesses do require more funding than that. And in a lot of cases like Dan's, those businesses are worth a lot more than £250,000. So you're actually almost sacrificing to take that offer. Um, so I went in there, I enjoyed myself, I made the most of the experience. And like I said, that the number 1.5 thing is the experience. I got to be a part of every episode. So I said this when I was on GB News yesterday. In my taxi ride on the way out, I was asked this exact question, and they said, "Oh, so close to the final. You must, and you don't see my taxi ride. You must be so gutted you didn't get to the final." And I was like, I got done for being a bit too philosophical on the show, so I'll try and not be too philosophical here. But I was like, it is a 0.0006% chance of the 80,000 people that apply to finish in the top 4. And you want me to sit here and say, like, I'm gutted about my experience? I'm like, absolutely not. I got to be in every task. And, when I came back for the final, I'm speaking to the candidates who hadn't got to be a part of every episode and all of the experience. And, like, almost just like how upset they were. And I get it. It's not something you get to do twice. And, you have these experiences. And, like, I didn't want to look back with any regret. And I look back at the experience now and I don't look back with any regret. And I was so happy in that taxi on the way out. I don't think it made particularly good television. So, um, yeah, no regrets.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right. And sort of flipping that on its head, what do you think? Could there be a single moment you look back to where you think that is my most proudest moment of the process?
Yeah, 100%. And like, because of like the things I've mentioned, it's almost impossible at points to get past the limitations that are put on you in tasks. So there are these occasional moments where you can just be fully yourself, just fully immerse yourself in what the experience is and what the experience stops you from being. And when I was in the market with Kieran has become one of my really close friends. And we're like two peas in a pod. Like the first day I went up to Kieran, and Kieran is just like authentically Kieran. Like that is just, he's exactly in real life like he is like on screen. And we were like two naughty schoolboys. Like off camera, the amount of trouble we got into behind the scenes is absolutely obscene. Like it was every 2 minutes. Like we were being split up at some points because we were just like causing they weren't doing anything nasty or nothing like that. But like, we would be talking about the task when maybe we shouldn't be, or like being a little bit cheeky or wandering off or like that kind of stuff. And the second we were put in the market, Kieran, he's got the East End accent. He had the flat caps with him, and like we're in the market. And my great grandfather actually was a market salesman as well. He was paraded down Commercial Street after he passed because so it's sort of in my family blood as well. And like we just went out there and we just gave it absolutely everything, and there was no limitations. There's nothing that can, oh, well, you've got to say it this way, because they can't make you say anything you don't want to. So, like, although they can sort of edit stuff to make it look like you said things you didn't, but like, I I just went out there with Kieran, and it was the group I was with because I was very close with Carrington and Priyesh as well, who were behind the scenes. We were giving it our all. We are having so much fun. We're being told like every 20 seconds, like that, we're really bringing the energy. We can hear the other team and we know we're outselling them. We've had security come over and say, guys, you've been a bit loud, tone it down. We've looked at production, been like, do we actually have to tone it down? They're like, good TV, carry on. So we were just cracking through it and like we were just having such a scream and the people we got to speak to and the experience of doing it. And it was the same with the goats. I'm just with Kieran, we're just enjoying the experience. We're not taking it too seriously. And when you're with people like that and you're throwing yourself into it like that, and then for Lord Sugar to say in the boardroom after it, you could sell pancetta at bar mitzvahs, like, I mean, I I will always walk away with that one episode, episode three, and I I will not take for granted at any point that like I got to be a part of that. And a lot of people leave without so much as Lord Sugar probably remembering their names. Well, I got told I could sell pancetta at bar mitzvahs, so I'll be keeping that with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that task, like it was, I don't know how you got all those tips. I wouldn't be able to ask for any.
It's funny as well because, like, I took the approach and it got to the point some of the candidates maybe thought that, like, I had something with me that I shouldn't and I might be cheating. I did my prep before the show. I did all my prep before the show. And, like, it was a proper prepare to fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I went in, I watched, the recent seasons. I saw when Raj in season 18 was selling on the market, she was asking for tips and Tim praised that. So, because I'd seen that little bit, I knew to then do it. So, it was one of those things. I really did prepare before I came into the show and like the different types of tasks and, maybe how to pitch. And, it did add quite a lot because when it came to it, I wrote the pitch on tasks two, three, what, seven, yeah, two, three, and seven, and every single one of those pitches got really good reviews. You don't see it, but like that kind of preparation on how to write an apprentice pitch, it stood me in really good stead. And, it probably did get me saved from being fired in week 7 as well.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, love it.